going to do stuffing and we're going to do mashed potatoes. And then guess what? I'm cooking a turkey right now. I'm cooking a diesel turkey, and Caitlin's going to grab it off the grill for us, and we can talk about turkey a little bit as well. And so that's just kind of like a bonus, right? Because diesel sent me a gorgeous regenerative turkey, which has like grown up on the best land possible and given the best food. So I'm really excited. We're going to photograph it. We spatchcocked it, we brined it, and so all of that content's going to be coming out too, right? So do you want to go check on that, and I'll start on the stuffing?
Perfect.
It's so fun to have a partner in crime. So you guys, just to bring you up to speed, if you are cooking along, I think most of you for this are probably just paying attention, but Caitlin peeled the potatoes and she diced them and put them in a pot of cold water with salt, and we're already bringing that to a boil. Okay, so we got a jump start on the mashed potatoes. How fun that having her here too. It's like there's less downtime. We get to do all of this together. And I am going to do the stuffing for us, but I forgot my trusty paper towel underneath to keep my board steady. So let me do that, and then I'll change the camera for us. And in the meantime, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask, but I think it's just a couple of us here today live, and that is just fine. I love it. Okay, I'm just going to dampen this little hand towel because we just did a video where I was spatchcocking a turkey. You know, you take the spine out of it and you lay it flat, and I've been brining it, and so I was working with raw poultry and went through like a roll of paper towel trying to keep my hands dry while I was cutting it. So forgive me on that one. Okay, so here for this stuffing recipe, we're going to keep it really simple, okay? We are going to use, this is mild Italian sausage. That, of course, is completely optional. If you don't want to use meat, that's fine. I just got in the habit of putting sausage in my stuffing, and everybody loved it. I've got yellow onion. I believe the recipe calls for red. I've got some celery. You can add garlic. You can add any herbs that you want. Rosemary, thyme, parsley. I like flat leaf parsley better, also known as Italian parsley. And we're using fresh apple this year, but a lot of times I'll put in dried fruit. You can put in a nut if you want, right? And then I just wanted to show you this stuffing mix because you can use a bunch of things, right? So usually they're calling for stale bread or bread cubes like this, or croutons they're sometimes called, you guys, because when you add stock or broth to these, it gets really fluffy and delightful. So when you start with something stale, it actually like puffs up more and gets really yummy. You could use fresh bread, but if you have a loaf of bread, I recommend cubing it the night before or just tearing it into chunks and letting it sit out at room temperature uncovered, because it'll kind of make it go stale, which is what you want, right? So this is just a stuffing mix that I believe I bought at Whole Foods, and it is not gluten-free. However, if you're doing gluten-free, I love Mariposa. I'm going to put this in the notes right now for you, okay, before I start cooking. Mariposa Baking Company, and I believe they ship it. And it's the best gluten-free stuffing I've ever used. So if you're looking for a gluten-free option, you can count on it. And also, it is absolutely fantastic the next day, which I've never found in a gluten-free stuffing. So let me just dice up some of the things we're going to be putting in this stuffing, and we'll take it over to the cooktop. And I'm already, I've got a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil in the pan. So the best thing about this recipe, if I'm thinking about cooking this, you can caramelize all of these things. You can cook them through. And then on Thanksgiving Day, you can do all of this the day before. Put it in a container, and then when you're ready to make the stuffing, just toss all of these things with the stuffing cubes and add the stock. Oh, that's gorgeous turkey. If you need to move things around, Caitlin, feel free, okay? Yeah. We'll show you the turkey once she's taken some pictures of it, or somewhere in between. So yeah, so as I saute all of these yummy things, think about doing this the day ahead and just storing them in a container in the refrigerator. And then when you're ready to make the stuffing, you could kind of just put these in the bottom of a pan or stock pot and bring them up to like at least room temperature, add the stuffing cubes and warm broth or stock, and you'd be good to go. And then you can just bake it in the oven We can, of course, talk about stuffing a turkey versus serving it on the side. I think I'll save that for Saturday's class when I answer all of your Thanksgiving questions. Because I brine my turkey now, I typically don't stuff it anymore because the brine has salt in it, and those juices would come into your stuffing and make it a little too salty. So you kind of have to choose whether you want to brine your turkey or whether you want stuffing that is all delightful from being inside the bird. Okay, so I'm just chopping my celery, my onion, and my carrot, and my apple to about the same size, right? And I'm going to put them all into the pot at once. Let me add, these are a little bit pale, these celery, and it's not that you can't use them, they're just not going to have a lot of flavor, okay? So let me turn on the cooktop. And then I'll show you, because our friends at Heston sent me their new pan. Is this gorgeous or what? This is an oven to table pan. So I'm going to put our stuffing in this. Isn't it gorgeous? So we'll just use that tonight. It's really sturdy, but I love it that it's a little bit lighter than, say, some of the cast iron dishes that I'm used to taking to the table. So it's easy to transport. It fits easily in a standard sized oven. I would put it on the Traeger as well, like I do with everything. I love that Caitlin is roaming with a cooked turkey around here somewhere. Okay, I think that's probably enough onion, but I'm gonna want a little more apple to balance it out. And you guys can see I'm not measuring, I'm just messing around. It's a ratio thing, right? Oh, that is just so gorgeous. The color, yeah, like come show them. You guys can see the turkey. Even here. Ta-da-da-da. Isn't that gorgeous? The color on it's amazing.
It smells so
good.
Oh
my gosh. Yay. I love it. Okay, let me move the camera up so you all can see a little bit of what I am about to do. And I'm trying not to make them busy, Caitlin, but it's hard. I'm going to work around by doing this, okay? I'll come to this side. Yes, you can see the pan, and this is nothing new and exciting that I'm doing here. Caitlin, I always tell them I'm going to figure out how to take my second camera and toggle between the two. I haven't figured it out yet.
Someday.
When I'm here by myself, it's a little confusing, right? So I think, okay, so here's what we're going to do, folks. I am going to saute this, and I'll bring it back up while I chat. I'm going to saute this with a little bit of salt in there, keeping in mind that because I'm going to put mild Italian sausage in this, which is already really salty, these are not seasoned with salt yet. Or maybe there's a little. What does unseasoned really mean? Yeah, it's got some salt. Bye, Charlie. I'll see you later, honey. So I'm going to go lighter on the salt than I typically would, because we can always add, but we can't take away, right? So let me just get these veggies going, and then I'll make some room for Caitlin to, talk about her mashed potatoes. So here's what I'm going to do over here while she's chatting away too. And do we have any questions? No questions so far. I'm going to have this sausage ready to go, because first I'm going to saute the aromatics, right, and just get them soft. So probably 5 to 7 minutes for the onions, the celery, and the apples. I'm going to take them out of the pan and add the sausage and just brown it. I will use my potato masher, which is my favorite way to kind of mash it up, right, and crumble the sausage. And then we'll put it back in the pan. We're going to add the croutons. And here is the bonus. What I've already done this week, I already made, this is turkey stock, which I'm super excited about, because if you go to the market right now, like Whole Foods and a lot of other grocers, they're already serving turkey necks, selling turkey necks, drumsticks, wings, pieces that you can use to make stock. I spent $5 on turkey necks and 1 leg to make stock, and flavor is so good. It's crazy. So I'm going to use this. You can see how gelatinous it is. It's literally like, it's like Jell-O, which is going to be incredible. So I'm going to mix this with those croutons all in the pan, and we'll taste it before we put it in the oven. Let's just put these back in the bag. I'm walking around and flipping them everywhere as I go. We'll do that, okay? Caitlin, let me make you some room.
Perfect.
And get this out of the way. And I can move this over. Isn't this fun to have a partner in crime, you guys? And can I move the board back down?
Oh, this is
the
great.
Camera, I mean?
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Yeah. All right, so let's chat mashed potatoes.
Oh, yes, my face.
So we've got actually almost just to a boil. Good timing. So before class started, I just peeled potatoes. I did about 5 big russet potatoes. How many pounds was that? About a little less than
Yeah, it was like
pounds?
3.5 pounds.
Yeah.
I forgot to measure or tell them how much I needed. We were guessing.
It's perfect. And so peeled them and then chopped them up into kind of 2-inch pieces. It ended up being, I cut them in half lengthwise and then kind of quartered them after that. And then put them into cold water. I needed to do another rinse one more time. Potatoes are so dirty. It kind of had some of that dirt on my cutting board that transferred over. So don't be shy to give them an extra rinse. Put them in a large pot. We have the big Le Creuset over there, and then with a big pinch of salt. So we did about a tablespoon of salt, and then bringing it to a boil. And it's perfect timing. Right now it's at a boil, so I'm just going to turn it down just a little bit. Perfect. Let it simmer a little bit, and then let's chat about the cream.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got some cream in here, and Amanda is so smart, and she does infused cream just to make them extra delicious. So the recipe that we shared with you guys, it calls for, we got rosemary, we've got thyme, sage, peppercorns. We're working with what we have on hand.
I'm the one who did the grocery ordering last night and only got rosemary.
But it's perfect because it just shows whatever you have on hand.
Whatever you have.
And whatever you feel like seasoning it with. And of course, you don't have to infuse it, but it's going to be so good infused.
It will be.
So we're going to do, we have some rosemary, throw some rosemary in. And then I was thinking a garlic clove would be good too. So just going to do one. And I'm just going to let me angle this down a little more.
Thanks, Caitlin. Let's see.
Totally fit. Thinking that'll work. Okay. And I'm just going to take the back of my knife here.
Love it.
Give it some good smashing. Peel it a little bit here. And it's still kind of full. I'm going to give it one more good whack. Okay. Crush it up. Just kind of get those garlic flavors going.
Yep.
Yeah, you can throw in peppercorns. You can throw in any other herbs you have. And we're going to put this on the stove top. Oh, you're good.
I can turn that on for you.
Oh, thank you. And we'll just start cooking that. So that's over there with Amanda.
And then we cut the heat as soon as the bubbles start, I think, right? Because you don't want that cream to, it can bubble over so quickly. So you turn it on, you get it warm, turn it off, you can put a lid on it or just let it sit there. Oh, Deb, I'm sorry you're having trouble with your connection. And Lori had to leave. I'm sorry, we'll miss you. So yeah, and then you can strain out the garlic or any of the herbs, and you will be shocked with how much flavor is left. So I'll try to keep an eye on that as well while I'm sauteing these things. Right?
It's so easy to let milk just bubble over.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's true. Well, this just does its thing too. Do you want to show everyone or bring the turkey up here? And I'll just talk about how we brined it and then how we roasted it, or I put it on the Traeger grill with a coating of a little bit of melted butter and maple syrup, and then some Traeger rub on it for color, which is like paprika, chili powder. It's just gorgeous. And what you're going to be able to see is that I cut the turkey into, I spatchcocked it. So I cut the spine out, right? And I flattened it for the grill, but I also just cut it straight down the middle because guess what? It's so much easier to cook like this in smaller pieces, and it cooks faster as well. So we did this in advance because I wanted to show everybody how to brine, and I want to show everybody what I put on it as well and how to spatchcock it. So more videos coming on Instagram about this as well. And I'll probably do a separate carving video too, but I just wanted to show you this delicious turkey, which we probably will carve a little of in a little bit. But you know what I can show you, Caitlin, right now? If you don't mind turning the camera up and over a little bit, I want to show you guys what I do when my pan gets a little too brown. The lighting is hard tonight, you guys, with the time change. I'm sorry about that, but it's getting a little too dark over here from the sugars, from the onions and the apples. Guess what? I'm just going to add a little bit of my stock. If it were warmer, it would work better. And I'm just gonna kind of like deglaze the pan in advance. And then not so much that it completely soaks everything in the pan, but it's gonna get that, bring up all of that fond, the caramelized goodness on the bottom of the pan and reincorporate it with the other ingredients so things don't burn. And then let's see how soft these are before I take them out and add the sausage. They're getting there, but they need like another minute or two, right? So that's my trick. Anytime the bottom of the pan is getting too dark before you're done with things, just add the tiniest amount of water or stock if you're using it and scrape that area up and you'll be in really good shape, okay? Any other questions while we're doing this? No? Do you like that I feel like I'm so spoiled having Caitlin here. I can cook. She's got her things going. We've got so much we could do together. It's really, really nice. And then also, if I can get the stuffing in the oven, or when I do, I will give one of these, I'll carve a little bit of this and we'll talk about that. It'll just be the little bonus part of this class tonight, okay? Also, I'm very curious. So many of you have purchased my new book already, which I'm so grateful for. And, you know, we're doing an extra class for all of you who pre-ordered my cookbook. So Caitlin and I just saw that class today. We're going to do some really delicious recipes. It's on November 29th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're watching this pretty close to when we actually did this, it's going to be in a couple of weeks. And I can't wait to cook from the book with you. It is really exciting. And there are some great recipes. I didn't do many recipes in the book that are specifically for the holidays, but there are so many easy go-to recipes that you probably enjoy doing around the holidays. But all of these things, all of these recipes are on the website at Amanda Haas Cooks, and they're free. I'm going to do this one last time. Just a little bit more. Deglaze, deglaze, deglaze. And then I'm going to empty them out of the pan here in a second. And we'll add the sausage and start cooking that, okay? Isn't the light funny tonight? Sorry about that, guys. Now it's a little bit better. It's unpredictable. I'm laughing too because tonight, instead of like staging it with pretty stuff, I can put my book back up there. It's a bunch of vitamins and supplements I ordered. So it's not very exciting. Okay, these are looking great. So I'm going to put them into a bowl and I'll bring them over here and show you what we've got before putting the sausage on. Oops, and the milk. Are we there? Yep, we are. Which one is which? I'm just going to turn this off and we can put it in the back. I have the lid. We can cover it. Let's see. Yep, there's the lid. Perfect. On it goes. Do. And then I'm going to put all of these aromatics just in this bowl so that when I'm ready to put them back in, it's fast, okay? And I did not put any herbs in. I'm saving the herbs we ordered for the mashed potatoes, but typically I would add at least, I would probably do flat leaf parsley, maybe a little bit of garlic too. And then I would add thyme or rosemary. Those are just kind of the classic festive herbs for this time of year, and they're delicious. Let me just give this a quick rinse, actually, only because I'm afraid the sugars in the pan are going to burn the sausage. So I'm just going to rinse it and rinse it with my, dry it with my rag real fast. I tend to talk to Caitlin. I haven't told her that I talk to you all when I'm not on camera. And I'm like, can you hear me? Can you still hear me? She's back. Deb's back. Yay. Ta-da. Okay, so I just wiped it out. Yes, I love going through Farm Up towels. I use them like they're disposable, and I wash tons of them. The second I take them out of the washer, I put another load in. So let me get rid of this one. And then we'll start the sausage. Okay. So I believe it calls for 3/4 pound of Italian sausage, and that's about as much as I have. I'm going to put it all in. The tricky part is breaking it up. It's just like ground beef, but actually a little stickier, you know? So here we go. Just get it in there and then turn it on. I might put a little bit of oil in this pan to get it started. You really don't need much at all, but it'll keep it from burning on the bottom. How are the potatoes?
a little longer.
Doing their thing, huh?
Doing their thing.
Okay. I'm gonna just like, there's not a pretty way to do these things on camera while looking polite. If they weren't here, Caitlin, I'd been known to smash it down with my hands, right? Like a patty, like a big hamburger patty. But it works. But when it's raw like this, if I were to put the potato masher to it already, it would just all get stuck in there. You need for it to be a little bit cooked on one side at least to get that going, right? So let me see how I can try to politely do this. There might not be a good way. Smash it down, smash it down. Hilarious. Well, it's kind of working.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
working.
not bad. Not bad. So, for those of you who are here, Deb, maybe it's only you here right now. Are you hosting Thanksgiving, or what do you do to celebrate? Anything? Okay, I'm going to let that do its thing for a second while I look to see if anyone's responding or has questions. No? We're good? As many of you know, I tend to split the holidays with my friend Sunny, who lives down the street. And so she is hosting. She loves hosting Thanksgiving. And have been ordered to bring my bacon wrapped green beans, which I make all the time. Are those on the website? I think they are. Yeah, so those are on the website. And then I'm also going to do this version of mashed potatoes because her kids all ask for the mashed potatoes, as do mine. So I'm excited to go over there and do that part. But I love this meal so much. We're basically having it tonight, right? But I'll probably do it again the weekend after Thanksgiving at my house. That's how crazy I am about this meal. Because I like leftovers. And at her house, there are so many people, we won't have turkey leftovers. Maybe I'll just enjoy what we're doing tonight, but I wouldn't put it past me to do it all over again. So just trying to start breaking it up a little bit.
The sausage is always a project. At Friendsgiving last weekend,
Yeah.
I was like, you are the sausage crumbler. You're making it the day before, and I was like, I'm here for your chopping.
That's such a great suggestion.
I got it.
That is so. I mean, I was really impressed. Caitlin did this for so many people. So not only did you cook ahead, but tell us what was on the menu.
We did turkey. I did a dry brine for the turkey.
Okay.
Did that about 2 days before, and then just stuffed it with some onions and apples and roasted it super easy. And then I did stuffing similar to this one, apples and sausage.
Nice.
And mashed potatoes. Those two things I prepped the day before.
Great.
And then we did some cranberry sauce, which I froze. I did gravy ahead of time.
So smart.
Did a chocolate pecan pie, same deal, baked it up completely, and then froze it.
Chocolate pecan.
It was so good.
I haven't had that in forever. Was it amazing?
I have to say, if you get really good quality chocolate, it's so good.
Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome.
What else did we do? We did some green beans. I just kept it easy. Not as good as the bacon ones, but
but good.
Roasted, olive oil and salt and pepper, easy.
Yeah.
I did mac and cheese, same deal. That's one that you can freeze ahead of time.
Oh my god. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese,
rolls.
Stuffing, rolls. For how many people? Like 10 of you?
For 10 of us, yeah.
Did you do a cocktail?
I did. We just did beer and wine.
And
nice.
Kept
that part easy.
Nice. Because it's just like a lot.
Yeah.
But that is so impressive.
It was fun.
That's amazing. But I think that she and I, oh, hi, KQ. You're going to Friends with the Fam and making whatever dishes she wants us to. That's nice. And Deb, you're helping your sister host. That's fantastic. Okay, I can smell this getting a little crispy, but there are a couple pieces here that are not cooked yet. So I'm going to do on the bottom what I just did before and add a little bit of stock to it. My new favorite trick. And even though it's cold, when you're just adding a little, you can scrape things up really quickly, okay?
And our potatoes are looking good.
Oh, great. Let me get this out of your way.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and strain them. I've been putting a fork through them. They're nice and tender, starting to fall apart just a little bit.
Fantastic.
I'm going to go ahead. We're going to drain them, and I'm going to put them back straight into this pot here.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I could get used to this, Caitlin. We live about 60 miles apart. 50?
Yeah, Solid hour at least.
We don't live very close to each other. We live closer than we did for a while, but she's such a love to come here. And so I always appreciate when Caitlin's here cooking with me or just even working with me. It's so much more fun.
So fun having someone to cook with.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And someone who likes to talk about food. Like,
Yes.
talk about food. Okay, this sausage is almost done. The thing is, when you're putting something like sausage into something else that you're going to bake, you don't want it to be underbaked when it goes in. Okay, it's kind of like if you put raw carrots. If you make soup and you haven't cooked the carrots and onions through before you add the liquid, they're not going to cook through very well. And so I just don't want to take any chances. You don't want it to be really dry, but you don't want any raw. So the funny thing is about this pork, though, it is a little bit pink in color. And so even when it's cooked, it's a little bit misleading. So I'm just looking for anything that looks absolutely raw. I do not see much of now. Oops. That was for my vegetables on the grill, maybe? I'm not going to worry about them. I'm also roasting beets on the grill right now and sweet potatoes. So let's set another alarm for a few minutes once the stuffing is in, and I'll go check them then so Caitlin can stay on her mashed potatoes and not have to worry about abandoning ship. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add all of this yumminess back into the pot. And because the stock needs to soften up and warm up a little bit, I'm not going to put it all in because I might not use it all. But let's add, it looks funny. I just want to warm it up and I'll show you what this looks like before I add the croutons, okay? So now it looks like turkey soup or sausage soup. Let me bring this your way, everybody. See this, right? So the stock has melted now. It smells amazing. And we want to be able to let all of those croutons, in fact, you know what? I know how this is going to go already. I'm going to add all of this and just heat it up a little bit to soften, because then with this stock being warm like that, the bread will really soak it up. It's going to be delicious. You've got your butter and your mashed potatoes. I can move this over here so that you can.
Oh, you're good. You keep going.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so here's what we've got. I've got my croutons, right? I'm going to add some in. And you want them to absorb all the moisture. This is a total personal preference thing, like how dry or fluffy or how much moisture you want in the croutons themselves. I like it probably, I don't like it dry. I don't, and some people do, they like it a lot drier. But I'll show you kind of the texture I want, consistency I want before I put it in the oven. I think I'm pretty close to the right ratio. And now I am going to move it over here just to make it easier. You know what? I need a mitt to put it on. Actually, this will work. I'm just gonna shift some things around real fast. And then Caitlin can have a little bit more space to work on her mashed potatoes too. I didn't even seal the mashed potato masher, did I? To do the, no. Okay, good. All right. Let me move this here so she has some more space over there. And real quickly, I'm gonna move the camera down for them for a second, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Just so they can see this. And yeah, great. So she put those potatoes right back in the pot.
Yep.
I like to dry them out a little bit. Did anybody ever teach you to do that?
No, but I saw you did that. I think that's such a great idea.
It just changes kind of the starchiness, the starch level of the potatoes. And I learned it from a chef when I moved here in 1994. And I swear I've done it ever since. And I like it.
I love it.
I think it makes them a little bit fluffier, actually. Okay, this is exactly how I like my stuffing. It's kind of like when you put dressing or vinaigrette on a salad and you don't want any left at the bottom of the bowl, but you want everything to be coated. And that's kind of where I am. I could probably add that last bit of stuffing. And this was about 3 cups of stock. I'm not going to add all of this, just a little bit more. Now, again, if you wanted to add a dried fruit or a nut, you could. Oh, these are russets that I'm doing, Beth. You can certainly use Yukon Golds, but I really like russets for mashed potatoes. I like the texture.
I'm with you. I like russets.
You too, Caitlin?
Especially for Thanksgiving. It just seems like the classic.
Yeah, right? Like, I love other potatoes, but for Thanksgiving, I'm with you. I'm just trying to check for seasoning, you guys. And I don't have any raw egg or anything like that in there, so I'm not worried about it. But I actually think the salt level is pretty okay. Let me take 1 spoonful just to make sure before I put it in the oven. Or a forkful, because that's what I can reach. How's it going over there? You just mashing away?
Oh yeah, we're mashing. It's looking good. I think I'm gonna start the cream. I just took the lid off over there, and it smells so good.
Nice.
The herbs were, the rosemary was still nice and stuck together, so that was easy to pick out with a fork. But if you had you had thyme leaves that were kind of all over the place, you can just strain it through a sieve.
Perfect.
And then I'm just gonna start kind of, to get to the consistency I want, slowly adding a little bit of the cream, and then I have a little bit of the butter.
I'm gonna give you Caitlin's face again.
Softened, I melted it just to make it extra easy either way.
Nice.
The potatoes are nice and hot though, so it should melt in pretty easily.
Great. Sometimes if I think to, I take my butter out early during the day, so it just kind of comes to room temp and it mashes easily, right? And you don't have to worry about melting it or having it be too cold. Okay. Oh, ricer instead of mashing. Okay, I'm so glad you asked that. I do have a ricer, and the first time I used one, I was like, this is phenomenal. Yes, I love them. I'm having one more bite of stuffing, don't judge. But mashing's faster. I love this OXO masher that I have. I also love the one by Gear, G-I-R. But if you have the patience to use a ricer, I mean, you can have holes on it that are like so tiny, so they're lump-free potatoes, right? I'm just gonna cover the stuffing with some foil to lock in the moisture and pop it in the oven at 350. Now this is something, again, if you're short on oven space at the holidays, you can put it in a grill. If you have a toaster oven, you can see, like Brooklyn makes toaster ovens that fit typical size pans, which are amazing. So you can put it in a toaster oven. You'll see how patient you are that day. That's the way to test it, right, Beth? So let's pop this in. Those are gonna be delicious. I'm gonna move my mess to the sink. I won't go so far as saying I'm doing my dishes yet, but I'm gonna at least consolidate my mess. How's that? Which is a start for me. David, I always say it'd be nice if there were new background music playing while I walk off camera. They can see you, which is good, right? But then let me get a board out, and I'll put part of the turkey here, okay? And we'll talk about, or we'll taste the turkey at least. I'm gonna just take part of it and let it hang out. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, what I'll do is while Caitlin is working on the mashed potatoes and finishing them, I'll go check what's on the grill. I'll go check I just was roasting sweet potatoes and beets for fun because it was on. And I'll check those, and then we can answer more questions about all of this, okay? Take it away, Caitlin.
Anyone has any questions? I'd love to hear too if you guys have any dishes that are your absolute favorite or anything unique. I'm curious too.
Me too. I always love to hear.
I always love that. There was something one of my friends was saying this weekend. I was like, I have never heard that, and I love it. And we used to never grow up doing mac and cheese. I think there's some parts of the country where it's bigger than others. I made it last weekend, and I was like, this mac and cheese along with leftover stuffing.
Oh my god.
Like, I think when it comes to the leftovers, I was like, this is
such a good combo.
Good addition.
Amazing. So. Oh, those look great. I'll be right back.
Okay, great. Perfect. Let's see. Good. No patient. Yes. Love it, Beth. Any other questions? Let me show you guys kind of where we're we're at 2. You guys can kind of see a little bit already. They're nice and fluffy, and with potatoes, with mashed potatoes, you really want to be careful not to overwork them. And that is Amanda's timer. You want to be careful not to overwork them. They can get kind of gummy, and they can become kind of tough. And so try to keep them nice and fluffy. Just mix them the amount that you need to mix them. Mash them the amount that you need to. And then kind of fun for chef's preference in terms of how creamy, or if you like a little bit chunky mashed potatoes, that's kind of like something. If you're in charge of them for Thanksgiving, you get to decide.
You get to choose.
Yes.
I agree. I'm just setting my timer one more time for my veggies out there, but I don't think we're going to need it during class time.
Awesome.
All right, perfect. Let me get this out of the way too. Okay, so you're like to the point where you're ready to.
I think we're ready to start doing some salt. Let me know too. I don't know what consistency you like. If you want to do a little more cream, if you like it.
Well, you know what? They look pretty awesome. And you have the salt.
You already have it there, but I haven't added it. So
thank you.
You can work on that.
Yeah, we'll probably. I mean, my guess is these are like.
You probably need it.
They need a lot of salt.
Yeah.
I'll let you go for it though, and we can kind of just season as we go and see. You know what I think is interesting too is that salt is truly, it's a personal preference, right? I always think when people ask me what makes the difference between a good cook and a great cook, I really do think it's how you season food and how you learn to season food.
Mm-hmm.
And that typically is what we're talking about is salt. But I want to see, I'm curious like what Caitlin would do versus what I would do, because I don't know, I have chef friends who salt their food a lot more than I would, right? But we're all different. Yep. Thank you.
And we did, in culinary school, we had someone come that was like a food scientist, and she was sharing how everybody's taste buds, you're literally born with them being different.
It's so crazy, isn't it?
What some people taste might be super mild, and then what other people taste is, overly salty.
It's fascinating.
It's so interesting when you learn that.
It is. We're all different. And if you smoke, it does a number on your taste buds. I always laugh. I walked by a restaurant. It was the cutest scene. I was walking in San Francisco the other day, and there were all these chefs on the sidewalk, and they were leaning against, there was like a thing you could hop up on here. So some were sitting on it, others were standing, and they were on their dinner break before they started service. And I said to them, this is the cutest picture. You guys are all just hanging out, having a laugh. Half of them were smoking cigarettes. So I had to laugh because it was for a phenomenal restaurant. Now they're tasting the food before they send it out, but you'd be surprised at how many of these chefs smoke cigarettes, like old school cigarettes. So I had to laugh because it requires a heck of a lot more salt if you're a smoker.
Yep. And don't be offended if someone grabs the salt on the table.
No, exactly.
Yeah, because they're just,
We're all different.
Yep.
She's polite and not double dipping. Mm-hmm. They're delicious. I mean, I could go maybe a little bit more.
Just a little more.
But I mean, she's really close. And the other thing is last year was the first time I ever made them the day before and rewarmed them. They were some of the best mashed potatoes I've ever made.
I say go for it day before.
How did you reheat yours?
I just did it on the stovetop with added some more either cream or milk, whatever you're using, a little bit more butter.
Yeah.
And then because you're adding more milk and butter, taste them again, see if you need to add more salt.
Right.
And then
they were so good. Yeah. They were so darn good. So these are amazing.
Awesome.
Nice work, Caitlin.
Woo-hoo.
So you guys, I've moved mashed potatoes to a day before kind of thing. If you have a slow cooker, a lot of people like to pack them into the carafe of the slow cooker, right? And put that in the fridge. And then you just take that and put it on its stand the day of on low heat with like a little bit of milk and a little bit of butter over the top and reheat them that way. And people swear by that. I don't have a slow cooker, so I just do exactly what you do over very low heat on the cooktop. And if you're not using butter and you're using something like chicken stock, which you can certainly do, you could do the same thing, right? You just need to add a little bit more liquid to them. You can always add more as you start to fold them again. The one thing, it's kind of like gluten. You don't want to keep mashing and keep mixing over and over again, or it'll kind of mess with the texture. And so if you want them to remain fluffy and intact, just try not to overmix, okay? Like when people put them in a KitchenAid mixer and start to get the lumps out, they'll turn to glue if you keep going. How long can finished mashed potatoes wait for the rest of the meal to be done? I let them sit on the stove for hours sometimes. Like I cut the heat. If you're doing them the same day, I'll cut the heat and put the lid on, let them sit for a couple hours, and then I'll slowly warm them back up again. But you can absolutely do them ahead of time, whether it's the day before or the day of, and let them sit for a couple hours. Okay. You just might need to refresh them a little bit.
Yeah.
Other questions? No? I think I'll show you the turkey just because, well, the stuffing keeps cooking, right? Caitlin, those mashed potatoes, oh my gosh, we could like build a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner plate right now.
We could.
We could. Like, and we should. Okay, I want to show you this turkey, and this will not be don't count this as my carving class, but I just want to show you. And I'm curious too, because I want to take a look at how it cooked. And I want to just separate, oh my gosh. This is gonna be delicious. Yeah. The thing that's hard, and I think it's actually done, is that there's this one part, especially when you're cooking the turkey whole, right? The thigh can be a little bit undercooked, and then the breast, I'm sorry, the thigh can be a little undercooked, and the breast can easily get overcooked. But when you lay it out and you spatchcock it, you have a much better chance of it cooking evenly. So to be honest with you, we weren't really timing this at all. We were putting it on and hoping we got it right. And so I had Caitlin pull it right as the class was getting started. And it read about 165 in the breast, and it said 180, 181 in the thigh about 10 minutes prior. Sometimes though, you guys, it's just a little tricky in that this is a little pink right here. I'm not gonna worry about it because I'm not gonna eat this part right now. Plus, if you let it continue to rest and it's just a couple degrees off before you carve it, it's probably going to get up to the temperature that you want. So this is really close. I'm just not going to carve the whole thing right now. I want it to hang out. I might put this back in for like 5 to 10 minutes, but it's pretty darn close to perfect. And once the breast cools, I'm going to carve some of the turkey breast meat and we'll take a look, okay? So I'll do a separate video with the other half of the turkey teaching people how to carve their bird as well. Okay, I'm going to show our faces again because now with Kaylin here, it's just super speedy, right? And I think I don't want to take the stuffing out quite yet because it won't be ready, and I want to show people texturally how it gets, what it should look like.
That sounds good.
But I wonder, I think literally, since it's just a handful of us, you all don't have to ask questions just to ask questions, but it's also a great time to do it if you want some private tutoring, right? Or you can get them ready for Saturday's class and we'll answer them then. Also, for those of you on social media, I should mention I'm going to be doing a lot on Instagram leading up to Thanksgiving. Did you start with the turkey today and share the recipe? No. So KQ, it's just a little bonus thing that I was doing today. I'm filming. Thanks, Deb. We do make a good team. I love having Caitlin here. I wanted to show people. Diesel sent me a turkey. They're my favorite turkey farm / ranch. And Heidi Diestel, who is the CEO, it's a family-run business. I think they're 3rd generation. She's darling. I met her probably a decade ago now. And so they're raising their families there and everyone's involved. Her brother is involved in the business, her husband, it's very cool. And so they sent me a turkey, so I wanted to show people how to brine it. And then I wanted to show people how to spatchcock it and take the spine out. So I'm doing those videos separately on Instagram to share with everybody. But it just happened to be going while I was doing this class. So I thought it'd be fun to show you all too. So basically now we have everything we need for a Thanksgiving meal. My kids, no, I love green beans too, but I was like, if all I had was mashed potatoes, stuffing, turkey, and a couple green beans, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I think you have a similar maple spatchcock turkey on your website.
I do.
So KQ, if you're looking for a written down
I'm so glad you brought that
recipe, that's a good place to check too.
Yes. And you know what's so funny is that I cook and I forget that I have recipes for things and I just start cooking and then I forget that that's actually what I'm doing in my head. So you're right. And then I also have, if you use a grill or if you ever use Traeger for recipes, Traeger has got a million turkey recipes on there that are great. And you don't have to put them on the grill. You can do them in the oven as well. But this one's on my website.
Yeah, and the grill is so nice if you're short on oven space.
That's the thing.
You know, because there's so much stuff that you're popping in the oven on Thanksgiving Day, so that helps.
And like you said, I love that Caitlin was able to do so much in advance, but you still have to bake those things off, right? Like the mac and cheese,
Still has to go in there.
Stuffing.
Green beans.
Oh my gosh. And then, but you baked the pie in advance.
That was baked in advance, and then I just served it room temp.
Where did you get the recipe for the pie? Is it a family
I
thing?
used one. I think the one I used was Sally's Baking Addiction.
Oh, right. I like her.
She's really good. Yeah.
We found something from her. Was it when we were trying to do the gluten-free coffee cake, which is so good? I don't know. When I've been researching recipes, I've been sent to her a lot. She has great recipes.
She has great recipes. And I used the chocolate was kind of the star. There's Scharfenberger or Guitar are both really good ones. If you splurge just a couple extra dollars, it does really taste so good in it. So that was a great one because, you know, an apple pie or something usually is nice to be a little bit warm. Yeah. It was nice to not need to time dessert out.
Oh, that's a great point.
We kind of finished, and then I was expecting people to want dessert, and everyone was like, let's wait a little longer and full. And so it was just kind of there when people wanted it. So
I like that.
Was a good one to do.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I might have to try that. I love, oh, look at Deb's making the chicken coconut red curry soup tonight.
That's a good one.
Deb, I have it in my refrigerator right now. And Caitlin did the first pass of that recipe, actually, for the book. And then I've made it a couple times already.
So good.
I love curry. Like my kids, if we order Thai food, they're always like, get a yellow curry, get a red curry. And so I love it anyhow. And so to turn it into a soup, it's a really hearty soup. But that's a delicious recipe from the book. So I hope you enjoy it. Lots of lime juice if you want to add it at the end, or extra fish sauce. It really gives it a little punch, you know? So good.
Good for the winter too, if it's cold where you are, Deb.
For sure. For sure. Any other questions, friends? If not, I'll just bring out the stuffing a little prematurely and see how it's looking. We certainly, it's kind of nice when classes don't go so long sometimes, because you can learn a lot in a compact amount of time, and you know you can come back and watch it again and get any pointers. Anything? Will do. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to bring out the stuffing and let's see what we think. It probably needs another 20 minutes or so, but we'll see. It's a slippery pan on a slippery surface. Thank you. I do stupid things all the time around here. Okay. Let's take a look. And oh yeah, it's starting to look fluffier. And the other thing you can do, which don't be afraid to do, is add more stock. Like if it looks too dry, I'm not going to do that right now. Oh, but it's fluffy. It's looking really good. Yeah, let me just try a little bit. I just want the flavors to come together a little bit more. But that's going to be delicious and easy. Easy. Would you mind opening the oven for me, Caitlin? Thank you. Should have put it on here. Oh well. There we go.
And you have some other stuffing variations, right, Amanda? You've done one with cherries and.
She's asking about other stuffing variations, and absolutely, I have. I love to put dried cherries. You could put currants in it. You can go wild. And like I said, I normally put a bunch of herbs in it. I just didn't tonight because I was saving the rosemary for the mashed potatoes. But I think that's the thing I like about cooking so much, is that once you master the technique, you can absolutely make it your own, right? So if a recipe calls for parsley and you don't want parsley, leave it out. Put in thyme or rosemary or sage or any of the flavors that you like. So I mean that. And that goes for all cooking, even in cookbooks, right? It's like if you know that something is not something you enjoy, substitute something else.
Totally. Yeah.
Right? Once you learn the techniques, you can completely make the recipes your own, which I love. It's 40 degrees there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Beth, ideas for cranberries. I'll ask Caitlin too. I keep it really simple. I'm talking cranberry, orange juice, a little orange rind. So I'll use a whole orange, right? I'll squeeze the juice in and I'll use I'll zest the outside of it. What do you do for yours?
I do that, and then this year I added a splash of brandy.
Yum.
Which was really good in it. I've seen people do bourbon as well. You want to do a little splash of that while it's cooking, let the alcohol cook out.
Yep.
And then I threw in a cinnamon stick this year too.
I like that.
Which is good. Just keep an eye on it. that it doesn't get overly cinnamon if you let it cook for too long.
That's true.
So throw it in there, and as it's cooking, in a little wok, and if it's smelling overly cinnamony, you can always
Just pull it out.
Pull it out, and same deal with the orange rind. If anything's like feeling too strong.
Yep, that's a great point.
Yep.
I love making that in advance too, and it actually freezes well. If you have never done cranberries, Beth, I'm sure you probably have, but like even on the Ocean Spray package, they give you a good ratio. Like if you just want classic cranberry sauce, right, in terms of sugar and cranberry, I think I'll do mine with maple syrup this year instead. I don't go too crazy. I mean, I just like classic, but I've added port before. I've added Grand Marnier, same thing, like pour to the floor, and you let it burn off, but you still get the flavor. But I think like bourbon or one of those sounds delicious as well. So yeah, yours was amazing.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, great one to freeze. You can make it this week.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm thinking like the funny part is that I just remember cooking the entire Thanksgiving meal when I was like 34, 35 weeks pregnant with my son, Charlie. And it's because I insisted on it. Like I really like this meal, and the family that came to visit, they're not very good cooks, and so they were delighted to let me do it. So it's my own fault that I was standing for like 8 hours, but I've shifted so much to doing the day in advance. Yeah. So like the mashed potatoes, I mean, I brine my turkey and have all that ready to go. So I either throw it in the oven or I put it on the grill. I do all of my green bean prep the day before. I do all of the aromatics for the stuffing like I just showed you. I would cook all of that, except I just wouldn't combine the stuffing with all of those cooked things until the day of. And like you, I started making my gravy ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's so easy at Whole Foods. I think you were mentioning earlier, it's so easy to just buy. You can make some really good stock with some turkey necks and bones, and relatively inexpensive.
Yes.
I mean, the stressful part, I feel like, at Thanksgiving can be that half hour before you serve.
Yes.
You're pulling things in and out. You're making sure everything's the right temp.
Right.
Someone's like asking for another glass of wine or whatever it is, and you're as a host balancing.
Yeah.
So if you can get that gravy done ahead, there's a couple recipes online too. I used Bon Appetit's. They have one. I think there's some on the New York Times. I think Ina has one.
Of course she does.
Of course she does. So there's some good ones if you're interested in doing that ahead of time and need some kind of like some guidelines to get going on that. That's a great
suggestion. And you know what I did last year? This was my big treat to myself. I read somewhere, because I was going to Sunny's house for Thanksgiving, I bought myself a new Yeti thermos to keep the gravy in, and it kept it hot for hours. By the time I poured it out of it there, it was like piping hot still, and it was hours after I put it in. So that was a fun little hack as well. So now I just stare at my beautiful thermos that I like to use for gravy. I actually put it in my closet because my kids started using it to work out, and they take it in the garage, and I was like, no, this thing is not disappearing. Just for gravy.
Strictly gravy.
I'm a goofball. Oh, you made your gravy today? Look at that. Nice. A+. Awesome. Deb, I'm wondering if that's cool or hot where you are, if it's 40 degrees. Wait, where are you? Washington? It's been beautiful here.
Yeah.
I hope it's like this through the holiday. If it's like this on Christmas, I'm doing Christmas like lunch outdoors this year. I want to do something different. So beautiful. Well, friends, if you don't have any other questions tonight, we'll look forward to seeing you if you're here live with us right now. Caitlin will be back on Thursday night. She'll be teaching by herself, doing her breakfast ideas. So the turnovers, oh my gosh.
Some scones. We're doing it with some everything bagel seasoning and cheddar. So there's savory scones.
And what's in the turnover?
In the turnover, we're doing some sausage and leeks and scrambled eggs. But
so fun.
Whatever you like in your kind of scrambled eggs, you could totally put in those. If you want to do a veggie version, we'll chat about all that.
God, I can't wait to take her class. And then Saturday, I changed the time to 3 because 3 p.m. Pacific time here, because of an appointment we had. We've had a few injuries around this house in the past month or two, and so I've got to run my son to an appointment that day. So I'm going to do a 3 p.m. Pacific time class on Saturday, which is literally just like all about Thanksgiving. I love doing it. Sometimes no one shows up, but I like to hang out and answer any questions you have. So bring them at me. I'll have my phone on me to Google. I'm not afraid to Google something if I don't know the answer, okay? So I can't wait to spend more time with you this weekend. And Caitlin, thank you.
This was so fun.
Oh my God, I love having, I mean, if she lived down the street, she'd be stuck with me forever. Every day, I'd just be knocking on her door, but I really appreciate having you.
Oh, of course. This was so fun.
So fun. All right, everybody. We'll see you very soon, I hope. Okay?
Sounds great.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
See ya. I think this is the button, right? Yes, and broadcast. Okay, bye, guys. And broadcast. Yes, continue.